So how do you write a creative blog post while keeping track of all the technical elements that are necessary for SEO? I'm going to lay out to you a helpful outline that will give you something to start with, at least, when you're creating blog posts. And these are applying to not only on-site but off-site content as well. So you want to first define a keyword family, and you may already have that. But once you have your target keyword families that you have developed through an SEO audit, you'll pick one. Pick one that, and usually that means it's a phrase. So I'm going to show you one place that we work with, Delco Windows and Doors. So if it may be, for example, window by itself is it's a very broad term. It really isn't a family, but if you did window installation, it's specific enough to the business that that's what they do. And so window installation is very broad, but it's good enough for a family. So you might have window installation and then the city. You might have how-to. All of these words that attach onto it before or after this phrase is the family of keywords. So you've identified that keyword. And then what you want to do is you want to have a theme or a topic or the subject. So imagine, what would the blog post title be? Either one of these are interchangeable. Title, subject, theme. And in another session I talked about how to brainstorm lists, tens, even dozens, hundreds of blog post topics that you could write on. You don't have to write on all of them, but then you would pick one that relates to this keyword family. Then what you're going to do, just like traditional English writing class in high school and college, is you're going to make an outline. This will help you flow in your thought. Rather than just writing and you get stuck and you're like, okay, what do I write about? By developing an outline, it gives you a way to write quickly and to write efficiently for the blog post. So this will have a breakout, and you can write bullet points, or you can have like a heading and then a subheading, and then even subheadings after that. And so each one will be a different topic, and those topics you'll do research on. Of course, you're going to want to have research and get authoritative sources that refer to that. It could be news, it could be other articles, it could be academic journals, various different things like that support your reasoning, that support the outline as well. And then you're going to write. Okay, as you write, this is the part where everyone dreads, but this is the fun part. If you've done these steps, writing actually becomes easy, and it becomes an enjoyable experience because you're putting in the words that speak to your customers and the content that resonates with them the most. Lastly, you want to revise, go back, and you'll check for keywords, check for things that spellings, all that type of stuff. And you may find that you need to tweak the title a little bit and revise that as well. Oh, and then, of course, you'll want to put in photos. But I always recommend that you put that in last. Technically, 500 to 700, there's no written rule, but that tends to be what that tends to be what is expected. You want to have keyword density is a big topic. Some people say it's not important anymore. Either way, you don't want to overdo it with too many of the keywords. Sometimes it'll be this exact phrase, and other times it'll be just window, or other times it'll be just installation. But you want to mix that throughout the article and not in just too much in one area. And you'll have it separated in various parts. So now once we've created an outline, we've written a draft. This is a draft. And then you'll, of course, just like English class, you would have a final draft, a final version of it. In this one with Delco Windows and Doors, we put up some how-tos and just basic stuff like that. But one of them that has been drafted, we go through and we start with the title, How to Choose the Best Window to Install. So it's basically a how-to. And we start with an opening paragraph, and then we go into various topics. And each one of these topics, we talk about very specific technical jargon about windows, the number of panes in a window, UV protection, insulative frames, low conductive spacers, things like that for prospective purchasers and prospective clients of this business may need to be educated about. So it's an educational article. But each one of these could also spin off their own blog post article. And so you can use this this method of article writing to create new content and to create an outline for new content as well. So once you've done this research, the creativity part comes naturally. And then we go back and we look at, okay, we've had this phrase mentioned 5 or 6 times during this article. It's not too much, but it's not too little. And it supports the page, it supports the business, and it's helpful. An actual reader, a human reader, not just a search engine, will see this not just for the SEO value, but they see it as, okay, this helps me to figure out what type of window I want to buy. And of course, you want to include the references as well. We've done the same as well for Reno International House. I showed this article a while back because, especially if it's something you're passionate about, ride that passion and be creative about it. Pick the things that you're most passionate about and just go in depth on it. And then you can always go back and revise it and make it a little bit less wordy so that it's quick to read. So anyway, this is just a simple method of how to write creatively while taking into account the technical needs of an article.